Good morning to all. I, Prashant Payam, welcome all the participants for the national webinar on applications of nano lubricants, which is organized by Sanatana Research and Training Institute, a unit of Sanatana Samprathisthana, Mysore, in association with the Rotary Club of Mysore West. Prayer is the process of talking to God in order to achieve a purpose. Let us begin this webinar by seeking the blessing of the Lord Almighty. Vakratunda Mahakaya, Koti Surya Samaprabha, Nirvignam Kurudeva, Sarva Karyeshu Sarvada. Now, I request Dr. Ramchandra Siji, the Managing Director of Sanatana Samprathisthana, Sanatana Research and Training Institute, unit of Sanatana Samprathisthana, to welcome and introduce the speaker of today's national webinar. I also request him to welcome the guests and all the participants. Over to you, sir.
Very good morning, one and all. So I take this opportunity on behalf of Sanatana Research and Training Institute, which is an unit of Sanatana Samprathisthana, Mysuru, to welcome today's speaker, Dr. Amarnath, Indian Institute of Information Technology, Design and Manufacturing, Jabalpur. And today's guest, Dr. Raghvendra Prasad MD, President, Rotary Club of Mysore West, and participants from different parts of the country and even outside the country. Let me introduce today's speaker to all. So, Dr. Amarnath. So, let me begin with his educational qualification. So, he has completed his undergraduation BE in Mechanical Engineering in the year 1999 from National Institute of Engineering, Mysuru. And then he has completed his post-graduation, his MTech in Maintenance Engineering in the year 2002 from Sri Jayachamrajendra College of Engineering, Mysuru. And he has completed his PhD in Mechanical Engineering in the year 2008 from Indian Institute of Technology, Madras. And he has also done his postdoctoral fellow in the year 2013 from Ina University, Incheon, Seoul, South Korea. And presently is working in the Department of Mechanical Engineering at Indian Institute of Information Technology, Design and Manufacturing, Jabalpur, from 2008 till date. And he has a total of 14 years of teaching and research experience. He has visited as a researcher to the University of Sheffield and United Kingdom, and Okuma Corporation, Japan, and so many other institutions. And he has received 2 research grants from Ministry of Higher Education. And his research interests include fatigue and failure studies, nanotribology, cutting tool tribology, bio-based hybrid lubricants, heat treatment processes, surface characterization, vibration analysis and signal processing, etc. And he has also established few research facilities at his institution, and he has organized many workshops as well as training program. And he has guided 3 PhD scholars so far, and currently 4 candidates have been pursuing research under his guidance. And he has received 7 academic excellence awards from the national and international professional bodies. He has delivered many guest lecturers in international and national conferences and faculty development programs. He is a reviewer of many reputed international and national journals. He has published more than 50 papers in reputed national and international journals. And even he has presented more than 50 papers in international as well as national conferences. And is a life member of professional bodies such as IST, Tribology, Society of India, etc. So this is a brief introduction about today's speaker. And before going to the actual topic, so the beautiful thing about the learning is that so nobody can take it away from us. So never stop learning. When we stop learning, then we stop growing. So learning gives creativity, and creativity leads to thinking. So that's why the thinking provides knowledge, and knowledge makes us great. And knowledge has a beginning, but it has not, and there is no end for it. So knowledge is divine, and knowledge is powerful too, and it should be shared. So that today's topic. So nanotechnology or nanoscience, whatever we call. So nanotechnology is a science or engineering and technology which is conducted at the nanoscale, which is about 1 to 100 nanometers. So nanotechnology is a field of research and innovation concerned with building things, generally materials and devices, on the scale of atoms and molecules. A nanometer is 1 billionth of a meter, 10 times of the diameter of the hydrogen atom, and the diameter of the human hair is on an average 80,000 nanometers. And even nanoscience and nanotechnology are the study and application of extremely small things and can be used across all the other science fields such as chemistry, biology, physics, material science, and engineering. And nanomaterials can be used in various forms. It might be nanoparticles, nanofibers, nanotubes, and nanowires, nanorods, and even nanosheets, or even nano droplets, and even nano lubricants. So today's topic is based on the application of nano lubricants. That means the speaker will going to explain how this nano lubricants can be used to reduce the friction as well as wear in various sliding and rolling contact bearings. So with this, I wish all the participants will have a fruitful interaction with the speaker. Once again, thank you, Nandal. Over to you, Prashant.
Thank you, sir. Now I request Dr. Amarnath M, Department of Mechanical Engineering, Indian Institute of Information Technology, Design and Manufacturing, Jabalpur, India, to start his session on applications of nano lubricants. Over to you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Ramchandra. Thank you, Dr. Prashant. So, is my PPT is visible?
Yes, visible, Amarnath.
Thank you.
Just put it to presentation mode, Amarnath. Yeah.
Yeah. So, good morning, everyone. Let me start my, before I start my presentation, let me give a brief introduction to lubrication of machine elements. So let us understand lubrication aspects of machine elements. Then we go into the details of nano lubrication. Okay. So here, these are the lubricated machine elements. So without lubricants, we won't get better performance of these machine elements like gears.
Amarnath,
yeah.
Presentation mode. Still presentation mode.
Is slides are moving?
Yes, yes,
yes, sir.
Now it is proper. Yeah.
Is it okay now? Yeah.
Yeah.
So these are a few examples of lubricated machine elements. Like we have gears, then roller bearing, ball bearing, that is point contact and line contact bearings, cams, journal bearings, etc. So these are the most commonly used lubricated machine elements in rotating machines. Okay. So here, so yeah. Apart from these rolling or sliding contact machine elements, we have some other applications of lubricants or cooling, like we have machining, then biolubrication, like we have hip joint, knee joint, shoulder joint, etc. Okay, so in all these lubricated machine elements, lubricant film thickness is very important. So lubricant film thickness depends on your viscosity and other properties of lubricant. Okay, so if you take the example of spur gear contacts, so it's not only spur gear. Most of the lubricated machine elements, there will be a transition of lubrication regime in this fashion. So at the initial stage, most of the lubricated machine elements operates in hydrodynamic lubrication regime. Over a period of time, because of change in operating condition, etc., there will be transition from hydrodynamic to elasto-hydrodynamic then boundary lubrication regime. So this is an example of gear, spur gear. Similarly, you can find these lubrication regimes in all these mission elements. Okay. So objective of lubrication is to maintain hydrodynamic or elasto-hydrodynamic lubrication regime in rotating machine element, rotating lubricated machine element. So if you fail to maintain a proper lubrication regime, that is a hydrodynamic or elasto-hydrodynamic, then there will be transition into the boundary lubrication regime, which is not at all advisable. Okay, for that purpose, we are using modern lubricants like SAE or other standards, okay, along with some additives. So you can see the importance of lubricant film thickness. Okay, so lubricant film thickness is not only important in machine elements, it is also equally important in our bone joints. Okay, like we have knee joint, shoulder joint, hip joint, etc. So there will be a lubricant film between gear teeth. You can see here. Okay, thick film and thin film. Thick film will be there at the initial stage. Over a period of time, because of change in operating condition, etc., the film thickness is going to reduce. Then where propagates during boundary lubrication or mixed lubrication regime. Similarly, in the case of bone joints, when we were young, we had thick film lubrication. Over a period of time, due to aging and other health reasons, there will be a transition of lubrication regime from hydrodynamic to mixed or boundary lubrication regime. So when it reaches to mixed or boundary lubrication regime, then we feel ache in our joints. So that's why the doctors always advise us to maintain good health. Okay, so this is the similarity between machine element and human body joints. In both the cases, there is a important role of lubricant film thickness. Okay, so efforts are being underway to enhance the performance of lubricated machine elements by improving the quality of lubricant being used. Okay, so this is the lubricant film thickness analysis. Okay, lambda is specific film thickness. So this parameter can be estimated using empirical equation. I'll be discussing that. So this is the standard type of back-to-back power recirculation type gearbox used to conduct lubricant analysis on gears, spur gears, helical gears, etc. So actually, this was developed by Germans. FZG, the FG, it's also called as FZG. FZG is a German standard term used to conduct durability tests of gears. It was developed during the Second World War to improve the performance of gears. Okay. This is in construction. It is very simple. Two single-stage spur gearboxes were connected by using torque coupling and specific flexible coupling. So this is called as torque coupling. This is a special type of coupling used to apply load. So if you have a look into 3D diagram of this gearbox, then you will get an idea. So this is called as torque coupling. So here there are two halves. Two halves are there. So while loading, one halve is fixed using this L clamp and pin. And on the other halve, the load is applied. Then these bolts and nuts were joined. Then the C clamp is removed. Then this loading arm is also removed after joining the bolts and nuts. There will be twist in this moving halve. Okay, about 3 to 5 degrees. At that particular angle, both the halves were joined using bolts and nuts. Then it is loaded. So that load is a closed type of loading arrangement will be there. Then all the gears were loaded in this fashion. Okay, so this is called as back-to-back power recirculation type gearbox. So those who are not able to understand with this diagram, many YouTube videos are there. Okay, just type back-to-back power recirculation type gearbox working principle. You will be able to get it, right? So this is about experimental setup. As I said, we are supposed to maintain we are supposed to analyze the lubrication regime, whether it is in hydrodynamic or elasto-hydrodynamic or mixed, etc. So for that purpose, we can use an empirical equation developed by Dawson and Higginson. Okay, so this equation is used to estimate lubricant film thickness. So lubricant film thickness can be estimated by considering viscosity, peripheral velocity, modulus of elasticity, right, and geometry and loading conditions, right? So radius, modulus of elasticity, viscosity, speed, and load. So with these parameters, you will be able to get H minimum film thickness. If you divide minimum film thickness by combined surface roughness, you will get lambda. So lambda is specific film thickness. So lambda parameter is used to estimate the lubrication regime in a given machine element. Okay, so this lambda is gauging factor for lubrication regime, whether it is in hydrodynamic, elasto-hydrodynamic, or boundary lubrication regime. Yeah, if you have any questions, you can ask now. As far as this lubrication regime analysis is concerned. Or shall I proceed? No questions?
Sir. Okay, sir.
Yes. Ramchandra, any questions in this?
Yeah. So at the end, we'll have a couple of questions. Now we'll complete the session.
Okay, fine. Right. Yeah. So this is a special type of gearbox used to estimate lubricant film thickness using this Dawson equation. Okay. So actually the experiments were carried out by considering 8 loads, okay, from 0 to 413 Newton meter torque load, load conditions. Okay, as we increase the load, temperature is increasing. So we can estimate lubricant film thickness by using this equation, Dawson's equation. Here the only change in factor is load. So with respect to increase in load, lubricant film temperature is also increasing and film thickness is decreasing in this fashion. Okay, then because we have conducted accelerated test conditions, accelerated in the sense it is more than 3 to 5 times of allowable load condition. Okay, so accelerated it is called as accelerated test condition. Overloading the gearbox or operating under overspeed is called as accelerated test condition. Since we have conducted experiments by using accelerated test condition, the surface has increased, surface roughness has increased in this fashion. Okay. Yeah. So here to estimate the viscosity, it is not possible to use a viscometer in the gearbox housing, right? So just to get the temperature, you can use ASTM chart. I mean viscosity temperature chart developed by ASTM. Then you will get change in viscosity based on the oil grade with respect to temperature. So here temperature increasing, you can say SCE 40 oil was used here. Okay, so its viscosity is decreasing in this fashion. You can use ASTM viscosity temperature chart to estimate the to get the details of viscosity with respect to temperature. So as I said, specific film thickness is estimated by using this equation, lambda is equal to H minimum divided by R. So we have everything in hand, that is film thickness we have, and combined surface also we have. So by using these two parameters, you will get lambda, that is transition of lubrication regime with respect to number of load cycles. Okay, so these are the specific film thickness values plotted with respect to operating hours. So two sets of experiments were carried out, 0 to 108 hours and 108 to 216 hours. So for both the cases, the specific film thickness is decreasing in this fashion. Okay. So by using this, if you can get the details of scoring damage. If lambda is greater than 3, then the scoring is minimum. It is under full film lubrication regime. Almost there will be no wear happens here, or very negligible wear happens during this full film lubrication regime. So if it is between 1.4 to 3, then it is EHL, elasto-hydrodynamic lubrication regime. Then if it is less than 1.4, then the gate system is operating in under boundary lubrication regime. Then maintenance action is supposed to be taken during boundary lubrication regime. So this is the criteria for a possible scoring damage. Okay. Yeah. So because of change in transition of lubrication regime from hydrodynamic to elastodynamic and then boundary lubrication regime, there will be a propagation of wear on gear tooth contact surfaces in this fashion. You can see increase in pit size, scuffing, spalling, progressive pitting, etc. Okay. Then, in addition to this, you can also consider wear particle analysis. I'm explaining these parameters because all these parameters will be considered in nano lubrication regime to get the details of nano lubricant performance. All these parameters should show minimum, reduction in these parameters if you use nano lubricants. So that is the objective of discussing this lubrication aspects of machine elements. Okay. So for example, specific film thickness. This parameter is estimated by using SAE oil, ordinary SAE oil. If you use nano particle based SAE oil, then the specific film thickness should go. There will be enhancement in lubrication regimes. That is the purpose of discussing this lubricant parameter, lubrication analysis of gears. Okay. So in addition to lubrication regime analysis, we have also carried out experiments on wear particle analysis. So it is very simple. You take one drop of oil, about 5 ml oil from the gearbox, and you go for wear particle analysis. This is called as wear particle morphology. So the wear particle morphology will give the details of wear progression in the gearbox. Not only in gearbox, it can be a bearing, it can be an engine, etc. So this is a typical image of wear particle analysis, wear particle. Okay. So based on this morphology, you can get the details of wear propagation in the machine element. Right. So it is done by using a filtration system. It is called as filtrogram technique. So here a vacuum pump is used. Okay, a cellulose membrane filter paper is used to filter out the wear particles from lubricant sample. Lubricant sample is lubricant oil is dissolved in acetone or some other chemical, appropriate chemical for filtration. Okay, so about 1:50 ratio, right? Then it is filtered using this filtration system. Yeah, so you will get particles in this fashion. So there are various type of particle morphology like sliding wear particle, chink particle, fatigue wear particle, spherical particle, etc. So each particle morphology will give the details of wear provocation. For example, sliding wear particle will give the details of lubricant breakdown. Lubricant breakdown of lubricant film, and chunk particle will give the details of pit propagation. Okay, when pit opens up, then this type of chunk particles will be observed in lubricant samples. Then spherical wear particles are related to wear of rolling elements. Okay, these are some examples of wear particles developed in gearbox. The details are available in this reference. Okay, it's available online. So for further details, you can refer to this. So there is a direct relation between wear and vibration. Okay, when wear increases, stiffness of machine elements, there will be variation in stiffness of machine element. Because of variation in machine element, it will directly affect the dynamic response of machine element. Okay, so that will be diagnosed using vibration analysis. So in this gearbox, accelerometer has been mounted on the pinion shaft here. Okay, accelerometer is mounted on the housing of a pinion. Okay, so pinion is the weakest machine element in this gearbox. So details of pinion were recorded by using accelerometer. Okay, so vibration signals were recorded from the gearbox. So those vibration signals were converted into Fourier transform, time domain signal and frequency domain signal. This is very simple. Okay, so when you acquire the vibration signal, you will get time domain information. Okay, so time domain is a physical system. It won't give you the full details of wave propagation. So in order to get the details of wave propagation, we have to go in depth into the Fourier transform analysis. So Fourier transform is given by this equation. Okay, so in the Fourier transform, you will get the details of frequency components, gear mesh frequency component. Okay, so for this particular case, the gear mesh frequency was about 900 hertz. Okay, 900 hertz. You can see one peak at 900 hertz. 900 hertz peak can be seen here. So at the initial stage, when there is no significant wear, so the peak is very minimum. Over a period of time, there will be wear after 72 hours. So these gear mesh frequency components are increasing here. Okay, so similarly, gear mesh frequency components are increasing with respect to increasing wear. So this is the experiments. I mean, this is the frequency components taken at the end. So you can see 4 gear mesh frequency components are there. So this is called as frequency harmonics, gear mesh frequency harmonics, which will give you the severity of wear in the machine element. So these are the some details of lubrication regime analysis and corresponding effect on wear in a geared system. Okay, so the similar trends will be there in other machine elements like roller elements, roller bearing, ball bearing, roller bearing, journal bearing, okay, cams, IC engine components, etc. Similar trends will be there. We can use this film thickness analysis. We can use this vibration monitoring analysis, wear particle analysis, oil contamination analysis, etc. So the purpose of using nano lubricant is to minimize these parameters. Okay, minimize the severity of these parameters and maximize the performance of lubricated machine elements. So in order to know the details of nano lubrication, so we have discussed details of lubrication regime of machine elements. Then we shall go to the nano lubrication aspects. So we have discussed film thickness analysis. Okay, then wear particle surface fatigue wear analysis on gear tooth contact surfaces, then wear particle analysis and corresponding vibration signal analysis. Okay, so these are the common parameters discussed in assessment of wear in lubricated machine elements. Let us see how the nanoparticles are going to help to minimize wear in lubricated machine elements. Okay, so here we need to know the preparation methods, materials for nanoparticles and base fluids, dispersion methods, challenges, stability of nano fluids, advantages and applications. And our experimental setup is also there to discuss to analyze the performance of nanoparticle based lubricants. Okay. So nanofluids were coined by Stephen Choi in 1995. Okay, nanofluids are a comparatively new class of fluids engineered in dispersing nanometer-sized materials in base fluid. So nanoparticles possess thermophysical properties such as thermal conductivity, thermal diffusivity, viscosity. Okay, so convectivity transfer coefficient, etc. Then we have various nanoparticles and base fluids. So metallic nanoparticles are there, non-metallic oxides, carbides, ceramics, hybrid nanoparticles. So we can base fluids can be water, oil and other lubricants, biofluids, polymer solutions, etc. Yeah, so there are two methods are there to prepare particle-based lubricants. First one is one-step method, one-step process. Here, simultaneously making and dispersing the nanoparticles in fluid. So this method can prepare uniformly dispersed nanoparticles. So one-step physical method cannot synthesize nanofluids in a large scale, and the cost is also high. Hence, the other option is this two-step method. You can see this diagram here. So we have nanoparticles and base fluids. You can have direct mixing. Okay. Then you can add dispersant. So the dispersant is added to improve the stability of nanoparticles. Then we go for sonication. Then you will get nanofluid. So this two-step method is most popular in nanoparticle and nano lubrication. I mean nanoparticle based lubricant preparation. This one is popular. Okay. These are some instruments used to prepare nanofluids. As I said, probe sonication. Okay. Then ultrasonic bath is there. Ball milling is there. These are some instruments used to prepare nanoparticles. The biggest challenge is due to high surface area and surface activity, nanoparticles have tendencies to aggregate. That is the only, one of the challenges in nanoparticles. Okay, so you can see aggregated nanoparticles here. So this happens because of high surface area and surface activity of nanoparticles. Yeah. So the wear and friction can be minimized. As we say, wear and friction can be minimized by using nanoparticles. We should know how. So we have rolling effect. Okay. So in rolling effect, nanoparticles become rollers in this fashion. These are the two sliding contact surfaces. So in between these sliding contact surfaces, the particles become rollers. So which minimizes friction. So in some cases, it becomes protective film. Okay, it's based on the structure of nanoparticle. So nanoparticle become protective film or mending effect. In mending effect, it happens like this. So the nanoparticles go and settle in the valleys or cracks of sliding or rolling contact machine elements. Then polishing effect. So because of polishing also, we can minimize the wear. Okay. So in this way we can, or any one of, or combination of these effects will be there to minimize friction and wear in rolling or sliding contact machine elements. This is how the nanoparticle works during lubrication. So we have some important tribological properties of nanofluids. So it reduces the friction, it increases load carrying capacity of lubricating fluid. So it has anti-wear characteristics. Okay. So in order to assess these properties, properties of nano lubricant, experiments were carried out using this ball-on principle. This will be so this particular experiment we have used boron nitride. Okay, this is the structure of crystal structure of boron nitride. Okay, you can see the strongly the crystal structure in which atoms are lying on the same layer. Okay, lying on the same layer and closely packed. So strongly bonded together by covalent bonds. Okay, the layers are relatively far apart due to van der Waals force. So the layers are far apart. This is the beauty of this boron nitride crystal structure. So this boron nitride nanoparticle was used for this particular experiment. So friction coefficient was plotted with respect to number of cycles. Okay. So this friction coefficient is comparatively less when compared to base oil. You can see the reduction in friction coefficient over a period of number of cycles in this fashion. right? Because of this boron nitrate, the friction has been reduced. Similarly, we have wear volume also. So this is for one speed, and we have used one load, and 3 load conditions were there. For all the load conditions, the average friction coefficient has been reduced in this fashion. Okay, so there is a reduction in friction coefficient with respect to increase in load in this fashion, and wear volume also is reduced with respect to increase in loads. It is because of hexagonal boron nano lubricant, particle based nano lubricant. So you can also do the surface characterization using 3D profilometer. Okay, so this is the base fluid. Okay, image of base fluid, and you can see the reduction in width of wear. Okay, width has been reduced. A significant reduction in width is there in the case of nano lubricant, HBN based nano lubricant. Okay, this is for base fluid, and 0.5% weight of HBN result in a significant reduction in width of the wear track. So this is the advantage of nano HBN nanoparticles. And this is the wear severity. You can see worn surfaces. A significant reduction in wear will be there in the case of HBN. This is one case study we carried out. Of course, there are various options are there. So we have to consider the optimum one. We have to minimize the wear and friction on rolling or sliding contact machine elements as much as possible. Okay, to minimum. So for that purpose, we have considered carbon nanotube. So this is the crystalline structure of carbon nanotube. This is carbon sheet. Okay, it can be rolled in this fashion. This is a carbon atom and covalent bond. Excuse me. Okay, this is another option. So we have to go for maximum reduction in friction and wear by considering the appropriate nanoparticle. So at the initial stage, we have used HBN nanoparticle, okay, boron nitrate. Then we found the other option to minimize wear and friction to great extent. For that purpose, we have considered carbon nanotube. So this is the crystalline structure of carbon nanotube. Okay. So these are the details of the carbon nanotube. So it is extensively studied carbon nanomaterial. So the crystalline structure of CNT has hexagonal network in which carbon atoms are strongly held. So this is the carbon atoms are strongly held by using by covalent bond. So the carbon atoms are strongly held by a covalent bond. Okay. So which has the advantages. CNTs are remarkably flexible, less dense, enormously strong, and extremely stiff with high aspect ratio, that is length by width ratio. Okay, so carbon nanotubes possess extraordinary physiochemical properties, physiochemical, thermal, mechanical, and mechanical, electrical, and tribological properties. So that's why it is extensively used in to minimize friction and wear in lubricated machine elements. Of course, it is also used in composites, etc., because of these properties. So we are going to use a functionalization method to enhance the properties and characteristics of nanoparticles by surface modification. So functionalization enables nanoparticles to play a major role in the field of tribology and lubrication. Let us see how we go ahead with the functionalization. Okay, so this is SEM images of multiple carbon nanotubes and functionalized carbon nanotubes and nanoboric acid. So we are going to use functionalization. Functionalization, which enables the which enhances the properties and characteristics of nanoparticles. Okay, so this is multiple carbon nanotubes and functionalized multiple carbon nanotubes. Let us see how we go for functionalization. So here we have considered multiple carbon nanotubes. We have added H2SO4 and HNO3 to 3:1 mixture. Okay, so we heated up to 80 degrees up to 2 hours. Okay, then it is filtered using 0.2 micrometer membrane. Okay, then filtered solid dried at 60 degrees for 24 hours. Then you will get multi-wall carbon nanotubes. That is functionalized multi-wall carbon nanotubes in this fashion. Multi-wall carbon nanotube, after functionalization, it has become like this. Okay, so advantage is it enhances the properties and characteristics of nanoparticles. Okay, so let us see how it works. So this is the FTIR spectra of multi-wall carbon nanotubes and functionalized multi-wall carbon nanotubes. Okay, you can see the enhancement in their properties. Okay, after functionalization. So here you can see the preparation of nanoparticles. Okay, so we can initially we start with fresh, SAE oil, 0.25%, 0.5%, 0.75%, and 1%. So most of the cases we go up to 1%. So between 0.25 to 1%, you will get optimum wear. A significant reduction in wear, you will get between 0.25 to 1. It depends on the type of nanoparticle used and the application under investigation, problem under investigation. Okay, so this is how we are going to prepare nano lubricants, and let us discuss the results obtained by using this. So this case we have used multi-wall carbon nanotubes and functionalized multi-wall carbon nanotubes. Okay, so this is the base oil. Okay, S3 multi-wall and S3BO3 was also used. Okay, then multi-wall carbon nanotubes and functionalized multi-wall carbon nanotube particles were also used. Okay, so base oil, you can see the friction coefficient. So among H3BO3 and multi-wall carbon nanotube, functionalized multi-wall carbon nanotubes, functionalized multi-wall carbon nanotube provided a better reduction in average friction coefficient. Okay, so this is the advantage of functionalization. So the same thing is happening with respect to the same thing is happening with respect to increasing load, and wear volume is there is a significant reduction in wear volume with respect to increase in load. So both the friction and wear parameters were minimized by using this functionalized multi-wall carbon nanotubes. So that is the beauty of this functionalization. Okay, then this is friction and wear volume parameters are plotted with respect to increase in load. So here the friction and wear parameters have been plotted with respect to increase in speed. Okay, 5 to 15 hertz, 5 hertz to 15 hertz. So in both the cases, there is a significant reduction in wear and friction coefficient for functionalized multi-wall carbon nanotubes. Okay, so these are the results for various loads and speed operating conditions. So to justify the applications of functionalized nanoparticles and other nanoparticles, 3D optical wear profiles were also analyzed. Okay, measured. So you can see a significant reduction in depth as well as width of wear in the case of functionalized multi-wall carbon nanotubes. Okay, so 2D diagram and 3D diagrams you can see here. So this is how the nanoparticles minimize the friction and wear in the case of rolling and sliding contact surfaces. Okay, so these are some images of oral surfaces. You can see the wear severity for all 4 cases. So for functionalized multi-wall carbon nanotubes, there is a minimum wear. Wear is there, but it is in very minimum level. Wear will be there in the case of. So the results were obtained. The optimum results were obtained for 0.5 weight %. Okay. So initially we started from 0.25%, okay, 0.25, then 0.5, 0.75, and 1%. Among these percentages, 0.5% provided the better results. So these are some case studies as far as sliding or rolling contact machine elements are concerned. So in addition to this, nano fluids, nanoparticles are also used in biomedical application. Okay, then coronary artery stent fabrication application. Okay, then metal cutting applications. So by adding nanoparticles, we can have better absorption on metallic surface, which minimizes cutting forces as well as wear. That is, flank wear on single or multi point cutting tools. Then cooling of electronics. Okay, nano coolant reduces the size, weight, and number of heat exchangers in electronic equipment cooling. Then IC engine cooling, also it is used. It is used in IC engine cooling. Then transformer oil cooling. These are various applications. So you can also, these experiments were fabricated in my laboratory to conduct this nano lubricant experiments. Okay, this is a simple experiment used to conduct friction and wear tests on rolling contact bearings. Roller bearing or ball bearing. Okay, this is the test bearing, and load is applied in this fashion. Okay, this is the lubricant tank. So here we can use various nanoparticle based lubricants to test their performance. This is a gearbox, single stage gearbox loaded with dynamometer, and the journal bearing setup is also there. So these testings belong to my laboratory. Those who are interested, they can take the details of these experiments. Okay. Of course, I'm also working in heat treatment by using microwave treatment, microwave treatment analysis, which enhances the mechanical properties of machine element. Okay, journal bearing I am using. So bearing material was exposed to microwaves to enhance their properties. So thus modified mechanical properties bearing was used for conducting tests, wear tests. Okay, and these are some publication details. So those who are interested in the above mentioned, these PPTs, they can go through my papers, which is available online in Google Scholar. Now I can ask some queries related to this presentation. You're open for questions now.
So anybody is having any clarifications? So you can unmute yourself. That option is available, or you can put it in chat box also. He will answer to all your questions. If you have any clarifications or any more information you have to ask, directly you can ask the speaker. Even chat box also you can post. So the platform is open for questions or clarifications.
Dr. Ramachandra, one participant asked a question.
Praveen
Kumar, what are the environmental impact on nanoparticles?
Yeah.
So environmental impact in the sense what? Hazardous, it is hazardous to environment or something?
Yes,
Yeah,
Praveen
so-
Kumar, so you can unmute yourself and you can directly speak. Yes, yeah.
Yes, okay. So it is used, the quantity is very less. For example, 0.5% for 1 liter means what? 0.5% for 1 liter in the sense it is about 5 grams for 1 liter.
Yeah.
5 grams or what? No, 0.5. One second. So its quantity is very minimum. And if you use, yeah. So Praveen Kumar, the purpose of nanoparticle is to minimize the usage of lubricants. For example, if you are using 1 liter of oil for let us say some 2000 hours, if you use nanoparticles, it can be 4000 hours or 6000 hours. In that way, you are minimizing the impact of this mineral oil onto the environment. Option 1. Option 2, you can also use vegetable oil based nanoparticle based vegetable oil for similar applications. In that way, you are minimizing the usage of mineral oil. So in that way, we are minimizing the effect of hazardous of mineral oil based to environment. Since it is used in very less meager quantity, there won't be effect on
Yeah.
environment.
Yes, correct.
Am I clear?
Yeah, correct. Thank you for one more. The participant has question: is nanotechnology is cheaper?
That's what I said. So if you compare the usage, extensive usage of this mineral oil based lubricants, then it is comparatively cheaper because the quantity is very less.
Less, yeah.
Quantity is very less. So in that way you can minimize. And if you see the application, okay,
Yeah.
so then definitely it will be cheaper. That's why it is becoming popular. Of course, at the initial stage, you have to initial investment will be there, but over a period of time, it can be minimized.
One more question, Pankaj Kesri has asked: how to reduce agglomeration of nanoparticles in base fluid?
By functionalization.
Yeah.
Okay. So this method is there, na? This one. Okay. This way. So here you can see. So agglomerization is minimum in the case of multi-wall carbon nanotubes. Okay. You can go through these papers. It's available online. Okay. You go through my Google Scholar and you get all the details. So here, if you have if you observe at the bottom, okay, agglomeration is maximum for various cases. For this particular case, 0.5%, and the functionalization process will minimize the agglomeration. I mean, it will go up to some weeks, days, 10 days, 20 days, etc.
Okay, thank you. One more question. Prashant Acharya he has asked: how good molybdenum disulfide and zinc oxide nanoparticles when compared to boric acid and carbon nanotube particles in vehicle lubrication?
Pardon, repeat once again.
How could molybdenum disulfide and zinc oxide nanoparticles when compared to boric acid and carbon nanotube particles in vehicle lubrication?
No, among all nanoparticles, multiple carbon nanotubes are giving better results. Okay, you have to conduct experiment and observe. In vehicle lubrication also, you can go for percentage wise. For example, if you are pouring about 3 liters of oil, then you can use 0.3% or 0.25% of nanoparticles. Okay, you follow the procedure and observe the reduction in wear. So you have to conduct experiment. And before that, simulators are there. Okay, piston ring simulator, piston material simulators are there. You conduct basic experiments and then go for these actual experiments.
Correct. And
among all, multiple carbon nanotubes are giving better results. Among all, nanoparticles.
Correct.
Yes.
One more question from son. Please brief about new research areas available in nano lubricants or applications.
So now functionalization and hybrid nanoparticles are coming up. For
Yeah.
that also, you just go through the my research publication, Google Scholar. One paper is published on hybrid nanoparticles. We will be adding 2 or 3 nanoparticles to enhance its performance.
Performance.
Option 1. Option 2. Application of these nanoparticles, nanolubricants on actual machine elements. There are very few papers are published. You can also try that, because we can use this kind of test tricks. Okay, these are fundamental experiments. Okay, there are many papers published on these fundamental experiments, like I showed you tribometer, no? So this tribometer, you can conduct fundamental experiments, but whereas actual case, what happens? Very few papers are there. There also that part you can take up. That gap you can take up.
Yeah.
Go
So
for, hybrid nanoparticles and actual machine element cases.
So that's what only
These are
limited
some-
work has been carried out. So you can choose your own area. So and there is a vast the research opportunities are available under this, especially under this nano technology. So based on your interest, you go through the literature and then you decide which, whether nano lubricants or any other particular
And we are
application.
there to help. You can contact us.
Yeah.
Our details are available. You can contact us at any time. No issues.
Yeah.
If possible, you can visit my laboratory also.
Yeah.
If you are nearby, you are interested, you can visit my laboratory. And
One more participant has asked Amarnath, what about economy?
economy, I told you, no. So if you consider the hazardous which is happening because of mineral oil,
Yeah.
then it
We
is
can reduce that.
comparatively
Yeah.
okay. You can minimize it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now it is available for cheaper rates. Within a few hundreds, you will get.
Comparing to earlier, so now it is cheaply available. So
Yes.
you can make
There are
use
some
of it.
companies are selling nanoparticles. Yes.
So where is this generally used? Some Suraj he has asked, where is this generally used? So you want particular application, Suraj?
Yes, I am coming to that. I'll go
Okay.
to that. So these are some applications where nanoparticles are used. You can see here, lubricated machine elements. Okay. Then these machining applications, biotribology, right? Then these automobile applications, fabrication of etc. used.
Yeah.
And these are some other applications. I think I discussed already. I should go to that. Yeah. These are some biomedical applications, no? This is lubrication as well as for other application like nanomaterials, nano biomaterials, coatings, and machining applications. Okay.
Many applications.
Cooling of electronics.
Yeah.
Engine cooling. You can find a number of papers published in these areas.
Yes, even heat exchanger application also you can use. So one more participant has asked how it is commercial for all people because it is more. One more person has asked how it is commercial for our people because it is more useful for thick film and thin film bearing.